Hampstead Heath is well known for many Londoners. It has been around since 986 AD. It was first gifted as farming land to a servant from a local lord. Eventually, it was also owned and utilized by an abbey. It is also the reason why when you're walking, sometimes there'll be greater fields with trees along the outside as the vegetation still follows in growth where it used to be farmland. Eventually, it was purchased for the use of the public somewhere around 1929, and ever since then, it's just been frequented by the proletariat. I say that because the park was also a frequented place where Karl Marx would visit whenever he'd come and visit London. So it truly is a park for the people, by the people.
Our adventure at Hampstead Heath began with a small mishap. Our companion Mike Silver took a slight fall down a very slippery, muddy slope as we entered the park.
So as you can see, we already encountered some real nature here in Hampstead Heath.
We have a casualty.
Yeah, we do. If you need to really know about it.
And my shoes ruined.
Pants muddy, shoes muddy. It's very naturey.
Go to Hampstead Heath if you want to preserve your clothing.
Yeah, it's really some authentic nature.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the Vale of Heath Pond. It's pretty low key. It's really quiet. No one else is really around. It's a Tuesday at like 4 o'clock. Looks like it might rain. And there's ducks. Dogs? Oh, and dogs. And it's kind of just a chill. There's some houses up on the side here. You can kind of see. Yeah, a little tranquil. We're out the edge of the park right now. We're kind of on the outside. And a lot of it's not high rises or anything. It's mostly just little multiple family dwellings. Kind of older brick houses, turn of the century houses, and it's kind of a cool vibe here. Let's see, you can kind of see right here, there's a little apartment space. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit old school, and you can kind of hear some traffic, which you can't hear inside the park very much. So from here, we're kind of at the ridge right in the middle of the park. We're looking east right now. If you look straight ahead outside the park, you can kind of see the Queen Victoria Olympic Stadium. Greenwich is kind of out this way, and then you can kind of see down that way would be central London. As you can see, it's pretty huge, isn't it, Mitchell?
It's quite large.
It's pretty big.
I may say.
It's got some size to it.
It's quite substantial.
Yeah,
there's some girth.
You can tell because Mike's walking all the way over here. All right, so now we're on the east side of Hampstead Heath, and there's kind of a chain of ponds that runs all the way across the side. I believe these are reservoirs from the Fleet River, and I did a little bit of reading online beforehand, and they're used for recreation now, but back in kind of the 1800s they were used as drinking water reservoirs for the citizens nearby. And
when we first got to Hampstead Heath, we entered the park from a parking lot by a trailer park actually. But as we walked into the dense deep forest, we saw, as you could see earlier, some people already walking around, riding bikes and doing some activities. The park itself is known for its many different ponds and little locks just because people are allowed to swim in them, but also it was cool because this pond, farther over it, you could see someone was training their dog for some water sports. It was also cool to see the different kinds of waterfowl that were in the area, as well as other kinds of birds too, not just pigeons. As we kept traversing through it, it was wild to see how big it was and how it was connected to the neighborhood surrounding it, and just how many people were constantly walking around it. We were there at 4 p.m. on an afternoon. It was also wild. Once we finally kind of just kept walking around it, we only saw one water fountain the whole entire trip through it, so it was very not industrialized. But when we finally got up towards Parliament Hill, we could really see what this park was all about. The view is amazing. It boasts, I think, some of the highest views from which you can see London in a natural setting. It was also a lot of fun. A lot of the people were super friendly. I'd personally feel safe walking there alone, at least during the daytime. And we were able to make a new friend with Noki, the Shiba Inu right there. All in all, the park is beautiful. It's very big, huge, and it's not necessarily very touristy. It's more for the locals, more back to nature, but it was incredible to get to be there and to see it.
Here we stumbled upon a monument commemorating the replanting of trees by the local community after a hurricane passed through London and hit Hampstead Heath particularly hard in October of 1987. This plaque also commemorates the different foundations that strive to maintain the beauty of this lovely heath.
The park doesn't really offer too much green space except for this hill. We don't see anyone coming here to relax, but
Towards the center of Hampstead Heath, there are 3 ponds which are occupied as swimming pools by the London public. 2 of the 3 are located more towards the east, one designated for men and the other for women. The third is a mixed gender pond more towards the center of the heath. Swimmers must be above 8 years of age to enter and to swim, and must pay a 2 quid admission as well as signing a waiver accepting the possible health risks associated with bathing in a still water pond.
I noticed that this park doesn't really take care of itself. No one really comes here and manages the vegetation on a regular basis. Because of that, the pathways are very muddy. The roots of the trees are obstructing some of the pathways.
So we also notice here in this park that there is a lot of mud. We have stepped in a lot of mud and very few paths are actually paved. As pretty as the park is and as fun it is to enjoy the scenery, the mud is a big interesting factor. And I think that this shows also that it's not really meant for tourists. It's more of a traditional, green area, probably for hunters and people who once lived here. Especially among the rich classes who enjoyed a good hunt, this would have been a prime natural spot for hunting and game and fishing like that.
Since Hampstead Heath is located on the outskirts of London, nobody can accidentally stumble upon this park. The best views are found in the middle of the park, and it can be quite disorienting for newcomers. These factors limit consumers at Hampstead Heath while maintaining its prestige. There is not much incentive for sports teams to come and play there due to the lack of open, flat, grassy areas. Many people were either jogging, walking with their dog, or sitting on a bench enjoying the view.
We decided to interview one of the many people out walking their dogs in Hampstead Heath and had a small conversation with this gentleman here.
So what makes you want to go to Hampstead Heath as opposed to Regent's Park?
Because it's near to where I live and I walk in.
Yeah?
That's the reason I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. What else do you like? Like, what's some of the cool stuff around here at the park? It's obviously really big, but I don't know, is there anything in particular you're just pretty and you like to come walk?
Well, it is the main reason, to walk in with the other dogs and go up there and meet them all. And also, if you do want an overall view of London, you've got one of the highest points here.
Really? That's really cool. We didn't actually know
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah, you've got, up there, you've got Kite Hill. At the top, it's a viewing point, and you can see right into London.
Okay.
And there's another one, if you go right up the top at Kenwood, there's another viewing point. You can see, that's what people come in. It's a view, it's a nice open space.
Yeah. Is this your puppy? Hi, puppy.
And it's more varied.
So how long have you been coming here?
Oh, quite a few years.
Quite a few years.
He goes everywhere. This is not the only park he goes to,
Yeah.
but this is one of them.
So do you feel safe here personally during the day or at nighttime?
I don't come here every night, but I do feel safe.
Okay.
I mean, no problems.
Okay,
I feel
perfect.
safe wherever I go because I don't look out for the trouble.
Right, that's right.
Come
Thank
on.
you.
Thoroughly traversing this large park, we stumbled upon another predicament. Our companion Michael Silver had lost his keys somewhere in the park. We realized that they could be at the spot where he had taken a spill, and we decided to journey all the way across the park in a quest to reclaim the lost house keys. We searched and scanned the entire park, looking for the yellow tag that Kappa had given us for our keys. When we finally arrived at the spot where Mike fell, we found the lost keys.
Well, apparently if you drop your key in Hampstead Heath, it can be deeply and intensely hard to find. So, we're making a little lap 2, so we'll see how it goes.
We are live.
We're live?
Whoa,
Yeah.
Mike, are those your keys?
Oh, these are my keys that I lost about an hour ago.
Wow.
When you slipped, right?
Luckily.
Right.
Yeah, look.
Oh, you
right
can
there.
literally see the
slipped.
skid
There's
mark.
the slip,
You can
and
see
there's
the
the
wow.
skid. This is about 2 hours later after that little mess occurred.
Yeah, we
We
found
got
the
that.
keys.
Yeah.
Piece of the yellow
Wow.
tag.
Go us.
Let's go.
Okay.